fragile peace, a delicate dance of grief and release in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict asterisk. The flickering candlelight of a national day of mourning in Israel cast long shadows, a stark contrast to the cautious optimism emanating from a prisoner exchange and the tentative rekindling of a 5-week-old ceasefire. The air, thick with the scent of grief and the faint whisper of hope, hung heavy as Israel and Hamas navigated the treacherous path towards a fragile peace, a peace constantly threatened by the volatile realities of their conflict. Thousands of Israelis, their faces etched with sorrow and their hearts heavy with loss, lined the streets, a sea of waving flags and flickering candles illuminating the somber procession for the 3 innocent victims, a mother and her 2 young children, who tragically perished during their captivity in Gaza. Their deaths served as a brutal reminder of the devastating human cost of this protracted conflict, a cost that transcends political rhetoric and military strategies. The echoes of their loss reverberated through the nation, amplifying the urgency for a lasting resolution. The images of their funeral, a poignant display of national grief, underscored the profound emotional weight bearing down on Israel. This somber backdrop provided a stark contrast to the clandestine operations unfolding simultaneously. The silent transfer of 4 hostages, remains, entrusted to the neutral hands of the International Red Cross, and the hushed movement of buses carrying Palestinian prisoners through the night. The bodies, transported from the depths of Gaza to the Kerem Shalom border crossing under the cloak of midnight, symbolized a small, tentative step towards reconciliation. The journey was not just a physical one. It represented a symbolic passage from the chilling reality of captivity to the uncertain terrain of peace. Meanwhile, a convoy of buses carrying Palestinian prisoners snaked its way towards Ramallah, each vehicle laden with the hopes and anxieties of those on board. The exact number of Palestinian prisoners released remained shrouded in ambiguity. The initial agreement called for the release of 602 prisoners in exchange for the 6 surviving Israeli hostages, a carefully calibrated exchange designed to balance the scales of justice, albeit imperfectly. However, the situation took a dramatic turn just days before the scheduled release. On Saturday night, as the Palestinian prisoners sat patiently in the buses, poised for their long-awaited release, a last-minute decision by the Netanyahu government abruptly halted the exchange. The prisoners were unceremoniously returned to their cells, the promise of freedom snatched away at the 11th hour. This unexpected reversal triggered a fresh wave of uncertainty and apprehension, casting a pall over the already fragile ceasefire. The Israeli government cited its objections to what it termed propaganda ceremonies, staged by Hamas during the handover of hostages and the remains of the deceased Israelis. This claim, while offering a rationale for the government's actions, further complicated the already complex negotiations and highlighted the deep mistrust that continues to permeate the relationship between the 2 sides. The government's decision, viewed by some as a necessary response to Hamas's actions, was seen by others as a misstep that could undermine the fragile peace process. The political ramifications of this decision resonated far beyond the immediate context, underscoring the delicate balance of power and the high stakes involved in every negotiation. The subsequent release of Palestinian prisoners, therefore, wasn't simply a transactional exchange. It was a carefully orchestrated step in a complex geopolitical game, a testament to the delicate dance between grief and pragmatism, between justice and political expediency. The identities of the deceased Israelis, shrouded in uncertainty, added another layer of complexity to the already sensitive situation. The confirmation process, inevitably fraught with bureaucratic hurdles and emotional complexities, further prolonged the tension and uncertainty surrounding the entire event. The events of that night, therefore, serve as a potent reminder of the enduring fragility of peace in this conflict. Each step forward seems to be met with 2 steps back, a testament to the deep-seated mistrust and historical grievances that continue to fuel the conflict. The exchange, while a significant event in itself, is far from a guaranteed path towards lasting peace. The road ahead remains long and arduous, paved with challenges and uncertainties, a path that demands not just political will, but also a profound commitment to healing the deep wounds that divide these 2 peoples. The future of this fragile truce remains precarious, dependent on the ability of both sides to navigate the complex emotional and political landscape, to find common ground amid the ruins of past conflicts, and to prioritize the pursuit of a sustainable peace over the seductive allure of short-term political gains. The success or failure of this nascent peace rests not only on political agreements, but also on the ability of both sides to address the underlying causes of the conflict and to foster genuine reconciliation. The weight of history, the burden of grief, and the uncertainties of the future continue to shape the narrative of this ongoing conflict, reminding us that peace, even when within reach, remains a distant and elusive goal.